Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about Skilless Gohan, talking a bit about how Draft Box 6 is making it a stronger deck. Now, you guys might know I was really interested in playing Skilless Gohan going into set 11, but honestly, Yellow just fallen off a bit here. I mean, there's just a lot of things that, you know, Yellow doesn't have, a lot of the other decks have, the one main thing being removal. I do really like how Skilless Gohan has a lot of draw power, but I think with Draft Box 6, we'll fix some issues that the deck may have, and I'll talk about that more in a bit. But guys, if you are new here, definitely subscribe, hit that bell so you miss a video. If you want to help the channel out, there are many links down in the description to do so, particularly if you want to pre-order anything you see in the video. Definitely use my link to TCG Player. It does help out a lot, guys. That being said, let's just get started. So Sun Gohan, Higher Dragon, new pals. We have a one-drop unison, lots of one-drop unisons in Draft Box 6, and honestly, it makes curving out a lot easier, assuming they have, you know, relevant ways to get markers, right? So permanent, during your turn, if you have a skillless battle card in play, this card gets plus 10,000 power. So it can be a 15k on your turn. It's still very weak on your opponent's turn, which is a little bit unfortunate. Activate main +1, play up to one yellow battle card with an energy cost of 1 from your drop in rest mode with its skills negated. So actually, that's kind of funny. When you +1 that, even if the one drop has a skill, it's negated, so it actually triggers your permanent, which is kind of interesting. And then plus or minus 0, draw 1. Believe it or not, I don't actually think this is the unison you want to play in Skilless Gohan. We'll talk a little bit more about the unison that you want to play later on in the video. So Sun Goku, smashing limits, 6-drop, 25k, triple strike, some game-ending power. When this card's played, choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and KO it. Now this is a lot of the stuff that Yellow is missing, removal, but this is a little bit too costly to use in constructed, right? In draft, I think this is actually a really good game ender, but auto, when your opponent activates a counter skill, switch this card to active mode and negate this card's skill for the turn. So yeah, excellent game ending power in constructed. Just, you know, in the meta, this is going to fall prey to God Selling Technique Trunks and charismatic villain Frieza, so not the best there, unfortunately. 4-drop Sun Goku, Relentless Assault. We have one of our uncommons, Deflect auto. When this card's played, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and unison cards and switch them to rest mode. Interesting. Activate main once per turn. This card gets plus 10,000 power and dual attack and can't attack leader cards for the turn. So another card I think will be good in draft, like basically resting everything, and you have the ability to attack a unison twice or even attack into battle cards with 30k. That's definitely solid, but not being able to attack a leader, that's going to limit this card's potential in constructed quite a great deal. But I actually could see some scenarios where this could be relevant in constructed. Sun Gohan, the battle begins. We have a 1-drop auto, add 1 card from life to hand. When this card attacks, it gets plus 10,000 power for the battle, making it a 15k. You may choose 1 card in your hand and discard it. If you do, play up to 1 skillless battle card with an energy cost of 1 from your drop area. Okay, so basically, that basically says you could play 1 from your hand because, like, you know, you could pitch a 1-drop skillless and then play it immediately. But I guess if, like, you have a dead card in your hand and a skillless in the drop, that's a much more flexible effect, so that's quite good. This is one of the cards you can combo with a Higher Dragon unison we read a little bit earlier, but again, I don't think that's quite the best unison for the deck. Unique, Double Strike, EX Evolve, pay a yellow, Sun Gohan, Youth, or Higher Dragon with an energy cost of 2 or less. So there are some of the promos there, but even then you could evolve over a 1-drop, which is actually kind of crazy. So permanent, if this card were removed from a battle area, it sends the owner's warp instead. So I think that just prevents you from using it for like Cell Xeno and whatnot. But this is actually really good. This is actually, I think, a little bit better than the Higher Dragon 6-drop we have in set 11 because it doesn't cost you 2 cards to go into, it costs you 1 card to go into, and it's an evolve. And it's got double strike, so that's really good. The dual attack is kind of meh. I mean, there are some battle interruptions, but the double strike I think is really, really good. And this does not restrict you from going into this on a specific turn like the other one does. And it's 5k combo, so honestly, this card's probably just overall better than the other Higher Dragon. The only problem is it loses 5k power, but I think that is absolutely totally fine. I'm actually a big fan of this card. I'll probably be playing like 3 copies in my build. Pickle, the Brilliant Rogue, 4-drop, 20k critical auto. When this card attacks, draw 1, then choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. Probably excellent in draft, not amazing in constructed because again, a 4-drop with no protection. Even barrier could have made this thing actually kind of good against green, for instance, since green is so popular right now. Like, barrier is a really good protection right now, much like deflect is. Like, deflect helps you a lot against blue, but barrier helps a lot against green, and green's actually much more prevalent in the meta right now with Go tanks and everything. So that would have been nice, but that's okay. 30k Piccolo, pretty cool. Krillin going all out, 2-drop, 15k auto, add 1 card from life to hand. When this card attacks, choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, and it can't be switched to active mode until the start of the next turn. Great for draft for sure, not so much in constructed. Curl and Protector of the People, 2-drop 19k, blocker, permanent. This card can't attack leader cards. Alright, that's just a little bit weird. I mean, again, blocker in draft is definitely not bad, especially for a 2-drop 19. This actually could probably eat some attacks and not die. But a weird permanent that I don't think the card needed at all. Alright, Higher Dragon, a Faded Meaning. 1-drop 4k auto. When this card's KO, draw 1, then play up to 1 skillless battle card with an energy cost of 1 from your drop area. Now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if the 6-drop Higher Dragon from set 11 KOs to play. I highly doubt it does, so maybe there's just like some anti-green stuff where like if they Shocking Death Ball or Dormant and kill this, you get some reward out of it. But yeah, I don't know. If that 6-drop Higher Dragon from set 11 does not KO, then this card doesn't seem very great unless you have some way to KO it yourself. So activate main, once per turn, pay a yellow. Choose up to 1 yellow Sun Gohan Youth, energy cost of 1 in your deck or hand. Play it, then shuffle your deck if you look through it. We have an SR Higher Dragon, a Kind Friend. 3-drop 10k auto, pay a yellow. If you have 2 or more energy into your opponent's turn, at the end of a battle where this card is using a combo from your hand, play up to 2 skillless battle cards with energy cost of 1 from your drop or deck, then shuffle your deck if you look through it. You can't activate the auto skills on copies of this card for the turn. Okay. There's a few problems here with this card in particular. It is an SR, which is a bit unfortunate in my opinion. Let me know in the comments below if you disagree. But there are already so many ways to play out your skillless 1-drops from either the deck or drop. Particularly, we have the Saiyan Scion Unison. And I honestly prefer that card over this just because you can actually do it on turn 1. But then again, maybe this card is going to be better with the curve I'll talk about. I'll just talk about it now. So the reason I think that Draft Box 6 makes Skilless Gohan a lot better is because you can actually play multicolor pretty effectively, because you can like charge multi turn 1 and then turn 2 you could play Saiyan Scion and you could play a 1-drop yellow Unison. And I think that allows you to curve out very nicely, and it gives you blue in the deck because Gohan Skilless draws so many cards, but it has no energy manipulation. Every single turn, the energy that you have is all you can play with, which is a big downside to the deck. So being able to add blue for Senzu Bean and charge blue yellow turn 1, I think is going to be a very big thing for the deck. But Saiyan Scion allows you to play that on turn 1. Now what you could do is you could just play a yellow Unison on turn 2 and maybe combo this card defensively to get your skillless battle cards out. That could be like a replacement for Saiyan Scions, but my only problem is it is restricted to your opponent's turn specifically, and you have to wait a turn to do it, where you could do Saiyan Scions on 1. Let's just say you miss your blue yellow charge, for instance. That is something that you could do. So that's something I wanted to compare there. I don't think this card is necessarily unplayable, but I think you'll have to compare those things I just mentioned when you're looking at if you want to play this or Saiyan Scions. I'll definitely be trying both. Chi-Chi Melee Matriarch, this is our My card. I won't talk about it again. I don't like it. I wish it wasn't printed, but it is what it is. Bulma, the Power of Science, 1-drop auto. When this card's played, draw 1. Activate main, choose a card in your hand, discard it, draw 1 card. Interesting there how they're making it like a mana sink, but not really a mana sink. I mean, of course, it's not like yellow needed another mana sink with Saiyan Instincts. But this actually could have been just like activate main, pay a yellow, draw 1 without discarding. That would have been actually kind of cool, because it would be like Frost Before the Storm, and that card already does not see play because it doesn't do anything really when you play it. So if they had a card like that drew a card and mana synced, I think that would actually be really, really good. Lord Slug, Power Overwhelming. We have a 6-drop, 25k, Deflect, Unique, Auto, Bond 3. When this card's played, choose 1. You can either play up to 3 Slug's Army cards with different names, energy cost of 3 or less from your drop area and rest mode, or play up to 3 yellow battle cards with different card names, energy cost of 2 or less from your drop area and rest mode, and their skills negated for the turn, and you can't play battle cards for the turn. So they're doing a lot of Slug stuff here in terms of like making it successor bait. That's definitely not bad, but you probably don't want to play this for 6. I don't think if you're actually playing Slug Leader, I don't think you'll actually be able to resolve this in most games, because your leader takes a lot of life inherently to do its effects. But I don't know, we'll see if you can cheat this in. Lord Slug, Super Namekian, 3-drop, 20k, Unique, Barrier, Permanent, Bond 2. When this card is in rest mode, your opponent can't add cards from their deck to their hand using non-leader skills. We have seen this card, or cards like this rather, many times in the past. Activate main, pay a yellow if your leader card's a yellow or Slug's Army card, and you discard this card from your hand. Play up to 1 Slug's Army with energy cost of 1 from your deck, then shuffle. So basically they're getting a Winged Searcher, which is actually very, very good for the deck. So Slug is probably going to transition to some green-yellow build. Having a 1-drop Searcher for Wings is actually quite good. Lord Slug, Evil Invader, 1-drop 4k. When this card's played, draw 1. Activate main, pay a yellow, choose 1. Choose a Slug's Army card with energy cost of 3 or less in your hand and play it. Then place this card in the owner's drop area. That's actually very, very good. And then choose one of your opponent's battle cards and switch to rest mode. So I think that first effect's actually just probably always better. That actually seems really, really good to basically pay 1 and get a 3-drop into play. That seems really good. Angelo, the Graceful Warrior, 3-drop, 15k, Unique, Critical, Auto, Bond 2. If your opponent has 4 or more cards in rest mode, when this card attacks, your opponent chooses 2 of their cards in rest mode. The chosen cards can't be switched to active mode until the start of the next turn. So if you're basically gonna have these freezing effects, it's actually really good what they did here. You have to choose more than 1 card to freeze, because freezing is just not better than removal. It just unfortunately is not, unless you have a Makikabura Unison where you can just permanently freeze things. That's pretty good, but this is actually a good example of when to do this type of thing, freezing 2 battle cards, and they put a restriction on it. 4 more cards in rest mode, not bad at all. All right, Wings the Gargantuan Warrior, 2 drop 15k, counter play, auto if your leader card is yellow or a Slug's Army. When this card's played, choose one of your opponent's battle cards or unison cards and switch it to rest mode. Not bad. I guess it's a Crusher Ball. It is a relevant 15k body, which is actually kind of cool, but yeah, nothing special here. Metamacha the Minuscule Warrior, 3 drop 15, auto bond 2. When this card's removed from battle area by a skill or KO'd, play 3 tokens. I think that actually works with Successor, so that's actually kind of neat there. If there's a way, I mean, we do have a way to cheat him in with that 1-drop Slug technically, so that could be kind of good. Then we have Kakuja the Lord Slug Scientist, 1-drop blocker, bond 3. His card gains barrier. Cool. Side deck option, barrier blocker can be relevant in certain scenarios. To save the earth, activate main. If your leader card's yellow, choose one of your opponent's battle cards. It cannot be switched to active mode during the next charge phase, and you cannot activate copies of this card during your next turn. Decent in draft, not so great otherwise. Whistled Melody, we have a rare. Counterplay, if the battle card being played has an energy cost of 4 or less, is played with its skills negated for the turn. Activate main if the leader card is yellow, and you send this card from your drop area to your warp. Draw 1. Okay, not bad. It actually a pretty good mana sink here. The counterplay is definitely not bad at all, and that's actually not restricted to any specific leader color, which is cool. This is actually a very good rare. I think you're going to want to get your hands on for sure. If you have like a yellow burst leader, for instance, that's a great mana sink there. Tyrannical Blow, counterplay. If your leader card is yellow, if the battle card being played is under cost of 3 or less, it's played with its skills negated for the turn. Then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards or unison cards and negated skills for the turn. Not bad. And then we have Super Namekian Might, last card here, counter attack. If your leader is yellow, negate the attack, and then you may choose 1 card in your hand and discard it. If you do, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards or unison cards and negate its skills for the turn. Definitely a very solid SR there. Definitely has some good side deck potential. Discarding a card definitely makes it much more fair, but definitely good nonetheless. So guys, I do want to know in the comments below what you think. The main thing I was thinking about with Skilless Gohan was that curve change where you could basically charge a multi on 1 and play a yellow unison 1-drop on 2. That yellow unison is probably going to be Bergamo, although I think they did reveal another 1-drop yellow unison. We'll talk about that when we talk about the Giant Force rares, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I want in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.